Hey there guys, this is Tom from Southern California. It has been really hot this week. I have been riding outside a lot. Haven't been doing so much yoga. Feeling a little itchy today. Think I get a little yoga on. Maybe a little bit of a power workout. I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe we'll do an hour, maybe we'll do less, just depending on how I feel. My yogi assistants are wandering around, not quite sure what's going on. So, as always, we're going to start integrating breath with our minds, kind of getting everything synced up. So let's get to our mats. What I want to do is I want to start in child's pose. So come to tabletop, hands and knees on your mat. And take your knees to the outside edges of your mat. Bring your big toes together to touch behind you. Shift your hips back onto your heels. And go ahead and stretch out. Maybe release your forehead to that mat. Extend your arms out in front of you nice and long. Kind of settle in. Give yourself a big sigh. Congratulate yourself for moving around, doing something. Let's begin by always checking out how we're feeling right now. Take that quick little inventory physically. Kind of identify any spots that might need a little extra time, a little extra love, a little extra attention as we move through the practice today. Remember, this is your practice. Your body leads your practice however you're feeling right now. So as I coach you and guide you through, there are always recommendations. If you need to change things around or slow it down or whatever you need for yourself, it's perfectly fine. That's what this workout is all about. So having said all that, we're taking that quick inventory, let's begin our breath. So I'll seal those lips together, begin that nice breath, inhale and exhale through your nose. And as always, we're settling into a comfortable rhythm, a pace that's deeper and fuller and bigger than our usual breathing pattern. We're trying to keep it equal, so your inflow and your outflow are about the same, just a little bit deeper, nice inhales and exhales. If you found your pace, you settled into that rhythm, let's go ahead and add a controlling element. As you exhale, go ahead and constrict those muscles at the bottom of your throat. What it's going to do is it might create a little bit of a vibration as you exhale. It might be a little bit of a humming noise. If you don't feel anything or hear anything, don't worry. It's the inhale and the exhale. Oxygen fuels our muscles, brings that oxygenated blood to those muscles, keeps them firing, keeps them moving. So as we move through this workout, this practice today, I'm always going to start you with that breath cue. Give you the name of the posture we're moving ourselves into. Maybe suggest some alignments to think about. And of course, depending on how you're feeling, maybe some options, variations, or adjustments to those alignments might be appropriate for you. A lot of options there, dropping a knee to your mat for more stability. Or if you're feeling like you might want to take it up and you've always dropped your knee to the mat, maybe in a crescent lunge, and you want to go for something a little bit more full expression, feel free to take it the other direction as well. Options go both ways. So let's take an inhale, bring ourselves into tabletop again. I'm going to join you guys now. What I'm looking to do here is I'm in tabletop. I'm looking at my knees. They should be about hip distance apart, about the width of two fists. Fingers wide, really helping. Hello. Doing a little cow and cat. So we're going to exhale, round that back, drop your head, drop your tail. Inhale, release that belly, lift your head up, tail comes up. Inhale, do it again, nice rounded cat. Beautiful. Let's do one more round. Just big exhale, round that back. Inhale, bring yourself back to that neutral position. I'm going to go ahead and curl those toes under, and I'm going to exhale. I'm going to lift my hips up into downward facing dog. So like I said, I've been doing a lot of cycling these days, which means my hamstrings are getting a little tight. So I'm going to take some time in this down dog to really stretch out my lower back body. So my calves, hamstrings, working some hips. Don't forget about those shoulders. Keep pushing away from that mat. We're creating a nice V or triangle shape, upside down letter V with our body. And for some of us, it feels really good to walk that dog. So bend one knee, then bend the other. Giving ourselves a nice stretch. We'll see how this practice goes. I haven't done yoga for a while, probably about 10 days. So let's see if I can find my yoga skills today. Your next big deep breath in, look up towards your hands, and as you exhale, we're going to step ourselves forward.
Go ahead and keep your feet about hip distance apart, again about the width of 2 fists. I like to keep my knees nice and soft. Go ahead and grab opposite elbows, and I'm just going to do a gentle sway side to side. Here I'm just kind of loosening that lower back up just a little bit. Really slow, small movements. Build this practice. First we want to kind of find our stability. Let's walk both sets of hands the outside edge of one foot with a nice little twist. And then walk them back around the outside edge of the other. Keep that head just hanging. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. Now you can keep your feet hip distance apart. That's a nice, good, stable balance. Or if you want, slowly toe heel your feet together. Now as we inhale, we're going to rise to standing. As I rise up, I'm going to actually roll my shoulders back. And what's going to happen is my palms are going to automatically face forward. I'm going to inhale, my arms overhead, shoulders relaxed. These are mountain or Tadasana. Lots of ways to hold mountain. I like this posture. Some people hold mountain like this, perfectly fine as well. Whatever feels best for you. Make sure we're keeping a nice, good, strong spine, neutral spine, so we have that curve in that lower back, a little bit of a curve at our neck, and a little bit of a rounded in our upper thorax, that upper part of our upper back. We're going to do a nice supported back bend. So I'm taking my palms, put them at my lower back, dial those elbows behind me. As I inhale, lift my chin up. Pressing forward for support, then I'm going to exhale, drop into that back bend. Beautiful. Inhale, rise back up. I'm going to re-extend my arms overhead, bring my palms together, soften my knees, exhale, slowly hinge into that nice first forward fold. Really going slow. I'm going to bend those knees, plant my left palm right above my toes. I'm going to inhale my right arm up to the sky. This is a nice, good supported twist. And once I get the twist going, I might decide to straighten that right knee. Maybe take that right arm, drop it to half a bind, really keeping that shoulder rotated open. I'm going to slowly exhale, bending both knees again, looking for support. Planting that right hand, that palm right above my toes. Inhale that rotation first. And then if I decide to straighten the left knee, I might again drop that left arm. Beautiful. Exhale, bring myself back in that forward fold. I'm going to inhale to a halfway lift. So in halfway lift, I have the natural propensity of shifting back towards my heels. I want to really engage those toes. I want to create a nice, good, strong straight line between my ankles and my hips, which means I typically have to shift myself forward. If I'm not feeling so strong today, I might take my fingertips, float them on the mat like little spider legs for support, keeping my gaze neutral, kind of looking forward of my toes about 18 or 24 inches. Beautiful. Now go ahead and plant those hands flat on your lap, bend those knees, step back into plank. Plank, of course, you guys know I love this posture, and what I want to make sure is we're not collapsing inadvertently into it. In other words, I don't want that chest collapsed. I really want to be pushing away. This is really activating our upper back, shoulders, core always. Now we're going to shift ourselves forward just about an inch or two, and then we're going to lower slowly. We have a very narrow grip in our push-up here, but we're just going to take ourselves about half to 2/3 of the way down, basically hovering over our mat. Once we get there, I'm going to flip on tops of my toes, and I'm going to inhale into up dog. Lifting my chin, you don't have to, you can look forward, nice and tall here, really pushing away from the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and curl those toes under, exhale into down dog. So again, taking some time to move your dog about, stretching it out, give yourself some room. Nice. Big breath in, look up towards the top of the mat, exhale, step it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to forward fold. Inhale, we're going to rise to mountain again, nice and tall. Open your arms wide, really give yourself a nice big expression. Inhale, lift that chin up. Exhale, drop into that back bend. Nice. Inhale, back into mountain. Palms are going to come together. We're going to exhale, release. Hands come right through our center. We are back in that forward fold. Again, in between transitioning, go slow. Inhale to that half lift. And again, plant those hands. We're going to step back into our plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Feel like I'm opening up those calves a little bit more as we go through this sun salutation sequence. That's what it's for, just to give our bodies time to get a little bit limbered up. See how we're feeling, see how we're doing. Take a big deep breath in, look up towards your hands, exhale, step forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising to that mountain Tadasana. Let's bring our palms together. Interlace those fingers, release your index fingers. This is kind of a classic form of back bend, also called Anyavitasana. Inhale, lift that chin up. Exhale, dropping that back bend. Beautiful. Inhale, back up. Exhale, slide those hands off your heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, we're stepping back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down, facing dog. Beautiful. So that's a nice way to kind of get ourselves acquainted. If you feel like you need some more rounds of that particular sequence, please feel free to take as many as you need. I like to do 3. One's a real intro, kind of picking up the next 2, but basically the same movements, the same postures. If you want to do 4 or 5 rounds, perfectly fine. A great way to really get your body in sync with the sun salutation sequence. Take a big deep breath in, look up towards your hands, and as you exhale, step forward. But inhale that halfway lift again, exhale, back to forward fold. Then I'm going to bend my knees and inhale and sweep my arms by my side, sitting into chair. And now in chair, I want my hips shifted back. I want to be able to look at my toes. Option here is if you can't see your toes, you don't feel very balanced, just rise up out of the posture. Just don't go as deep. You'll get that depth with strength. Let's exhale and sweep those arms back like airplane wings. Let's inhale back into chair. Bring your palms together. Exhale, release back into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And again, we're planting those hands, stepping back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. We're going to add some stuff to our next round of salutations. Good. Inhale that right leg nice and high. Then as you exhale, you're going to take that right foot, sweep it under your body, plant it between your palms. This is our low lunge or low dragon. To begin with, on just this first round, I'm going to do a nice twist again. Plant both hands on either side of that right foot. We're going to inhale that right arm up. Again, keeping our hips nice and low. Ideally stacking those shoulders right on top of each other. Good. Exhale, bring that right hand back down. Now, crescent lunge, one of my favorite balance postures. It's actually a back bend, but it's a very tough one because it's a split leg stance. So let's get grounded first. What I like to do is press against the ball of my left foot on this first side, get my glute engaged, and then I'm just going to hinge up at my hips and then add my arms. And again, I'm trying to keep my toes pointed forward, shoulders are relaxed. Tough work here because I haven't done this in a long time. I'm feeling it today. Now we're going to exhale into warrior 2. So to start with, again, from the foundation up, spin that back foot so it's parallel back into my mat. Keep my front quad deep and low, looking forward. I have a tendency to reach forward. We don't want to do this. I'm going to stack. Boom. So I kind of look forward, just swivel my head. Again, if I inadvertently find myself coming out of that lunge, just take it a little bit deeper. I'll take that front palm, flip it up towards the sky. Inhale, we're going to reverse the warrior. So reaching up, maybe throwing a half a bind in here, but keeping that front knee nice and deep. Keep that back leg active. Push against the outer edge of that back foot. Now, as we exhale, we're going to go ahead and cartwheel our hands to the mat. Step that front foot back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good.
And again, always take as much time as you need. There's no rush. Where you gotta be. Inhale that left leg high. And then again, we're exhaling, sweeping to that deep low lunge. And as we did before, we're gonna plant both hands on either side of that left foot, keeping those hips low but in line. Inhaling that left arm up. Finding that good twist. And then we're gonna exhale. Left hand comes back down to your mat. Again, engaging that right foot, so pressing against the ball of that right foot, engaging your quads, hinging up, keeping low. Hey Gus, keeping those shoulders relaxed. I know, doing crazy stuff. You gonna whine? No. So again, if I find myself coming out of that deep lunge, just keep it low and deep. We're gonna exhale on the warrior two. So beginning that back foot. Boom. Lots of options here. Looking forward, bring those thumbs together, swiveling the arms back in place. Give an alarm pip, staying low and deep. Good. Front palm's gonna flip up, inhale, reversing the warrior again. Again, if I inadvertently come out, be aware, take it back down, reaching up, arcing back maybe. About 3 to 5 breaths, each posture this first round. Good, and then exhale. Cartwheel those hands back to your mat. Step that front foot back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Oh, I love that. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hello. What is some down dog? You're not sure? No? Okay. Me either. All right, walking it out, guys. I'm gonna pick the pace up just a little bit faster. Ideally, we're doing breath to movement, but again, make sure that you're going at the rate that feels good and comfortable to you. As we move too quickly, we might build up a little bit more momentum than we'd like, which means we're getting rid of strength and stability, which is what we're looking for. Inhale that right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale to crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, guys. Step it out. Walk that dog. Stretching those shoulders. Take a big deep breath in. Step forward. Have a seat. Woo! I know I haven't done yoga in about 10 days. I'm feeling it now. All right, so let's do a little boat, Navasana. Core, that's what we're looking for. We do a lot of core in this workout anyway. We either inadvertently do it or we think about it. Hello there, you're such a good yoga helper. Yeah, good yoga helper. Hi, guys. Okay, thank you so much. So in boat, key to success in boat is really activating your abs, the transverse abs that really wrap into our body, the deeper sets of abs, not just the peripheral rectus abdominis, those 6 or 8 or 28 packs, whatever we call them. That's just diet. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're keeping neutral spine, which means we don't want to round and have that lower back bow out. Want to keep that chest up, those shoulders almost retracting towards each other. It's a good way to think about it. It's an exaggerated movement, but if you think about it that way, you're really going to be activating your core. So right now, my feet are flat, my knees are bent, fingers under my knees. My feet can be separate, they can be together. Lift my chest up and I'm rolling back. So I'm holding into my abs. They're engaged, okay, isometrically. Muscles aren't moving, they're in the same spot, nice and tight. So this is technically a boat. I'm in boat right now, so that's awesome. To make it a little bit more challenging, we lift those legs up, still supporting behind my knees. Again, keeping that chest open, chin slightly lifted, opening my arms out to the side, a little bit tougher. Next level, straightening those knees. This is where people start to really collapse. So if that's not appropriate, pull it back, or maybe take it for a couple of seconds, a couple breaths, pull it back, do it again, pull it back, last time. Nice. Now, hug your knees. Slowly roll that lower back. Go a little side to side. Oh, wonderful. Really loosen that lower back up. Always a good idea to take some time to give that lower back a little bit of love. Let's change the direction of our roll. Let's roll along our spine. What I want to do is I want to shift ourselves into tabletop. So from a seated position, just shoot those legs up to the side, come back into tabletop and work some more twisting. Again, always looking for alignment. So checking, make sure my knees about hip distance. I like to have my hands a little closer to each other. I see a lot of people doing tabletop, their arms way out to the edges of your mat. That's working a lot of shoulder and it's not really stacking your joints. So we really want to keep that stability. So to do that, I kind of exaggerated by bringing my hands a little closer to each other. My thumbs are probably about an inch or two apart from each other. What I want to do is from here, I'm going to curl my toes under and I'm going to exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg high. Exhale back to that low lunge. And again, from here, we're going to inhale one more time into crescent lunge. We've been here before. Bring your palms together. Exhaling your hands right down to heart center. Inhale, give yourself a lean forward, a little tilt. Kind of stretch that length in that spine. Exhale, we're going to take that left elbow, cross it over to the right knee. This is like the first phase of this twist. Perfectly fine. Palms together. Keep them nice and stacked. As I exhale, I'm going to press my palms together more and I'm going to rotate right at my waist. What I really want to do is I want to line my thumbs right up with the center of my chest. A lot of people here like to open their arms nice and wide. Very advanced move. Nice move. Keep breathing steady. Good. Slowly unravel the twist. Take your hands, drop them on your mat inside that right foot. Get that right foot out of the way. Toe heel it out. Maybe push it up forward. Roll to the knife edge. Drop that left knee. Runner's lunge. I like to flatten my left foot and then go into a little bit of a surrender onto my forearms. It's about really opening those hips up. And let the crown of your head just relax. Let it hang towards your mat. And just kind of enjoy this nice, good, deep stretch. The hamstring getting stretched as well. Now let's take an inhale. Bring your palms back underneath your shoulders. Find your stability first. Rise up on your left toe. Take your right foot, step it back. Let's bring both of our feet together in this plank. Move to side plank. Take your left hand, center the mat. And again, I like to actually shift myself forward. And as I inhale, reaching my arms up, pressing my hips up. A lot of people like to take that top leg, elevate it up, a little starfish. Nice, good, strong breath. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and exhale. Back into that plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Let's walk our dog out. Push and press and stretch, engage. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. And as I get ready for my crescent lunge, pressing my right foot back into that mat, the ball of that right foot, engaging my glutes. Inhale, coming on up. adding my arms. Palms are going to come together. We're exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, leaning forward. Exhale, twisting opposite direction. Right elbow to that left knee. Every exhale, pressing those palms, getting a little deeper rotation. This is a rotation that's deep, really starts at your waist. And levering your elbow against that knee. Beautiful. We're going to exhale, slowly unravel. Again, dropping both hands on our mat inside the left foot. Moving that left foot out of the way, dropping that right knee. Again, I like to flatten my foot. You don't need to roll to the knife edge of that forward foot. This is our left leg. And I surrendered on the first side, so I'm going to do it on the second. Getting to a deep runner's lunge here. Really feeling this in my hamstrings. Woo! Sometimes I feel some of these postures, I could just kind of fall asleep in them. They feel so good. It's like having too much ice cream, right? I don't know what having too much ice cream is even like. It doesn't exist in my world. So good inhale, bringing ourselves back up onto our palms. Rising up on that right foot, step your left foot back into plank again, both feet together. This time, right hand, center of the mat. Again, I like to hitch forward just a bit, inhaling into my side plank, or Vasisthasana. Beautiful. Let's release ourselves back into that high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really good. Stretching, walking it out. Good. Take a breath in, look up towards your hands. As you exhale, step yourself forward. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back to forward fold. I'm going to bend those knees. I'm going to inhale back into chair. Utkatasana. Sweep those arms back like airplane wings, open that shoulder up, and then inhale into our mountain Tadasana. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Let's start with tree for balance today. So to begin with, I'm really gonna make sure I'm nicely stacked, grounding down through my left foot, that's my support leg. Keep that support leg slightly soft. I don't mean really to bend it in an exaggerated form, but keep it pliable. If you lock it out, which means you're actually pushing back against that joint, it does not go in that direction. Over time, you serve to weaken the joint. All the ligaments and tendons start to get a little weaker. Our knee is a stability joint, number one. We don't want to mess with it. Those of you who have had meniscus tears and ACL work, you know how problematic that can be. As we get older, we sometimes inadvertently don't look at our alignments, and that can contribute to it. So really keep track of your knees, be kind to them. So soften that support leg knee slightly. Let's begin by just kicking out that right foot, creating a little bit of a kickstand. So I'm rising up from the ball of that foot, my heels right at my ankle bone. Feeling pretty good here. I might bring that bottom of my foot to my shin, side of my calf. And then again, maybe going a little higher, bringing it up over my knee. Ooh, good. Secret to success in balancing is finding something to look at, something that's not moving. I learned that the hard way. And that focus will help you keep steady. Now, this is a beautiful version of tree right here, but if you want to go deeper, or just have some fun with it, tree is something really to have fun with. Reach those arms overhead. You can create a little lotus mudra. It could be a nice big canopy tree. Go ahead and be a cactus. We live here in the southern desert, so Joshua trees are always fun. But pick the version of tree you like. Oops. If you wiggle and wobble, just find that center of gravity. If you fall out, don't worry, come back and join us. Then go ahead and bring your palms together. Exhale those hands to heart center. Release that right foot down. Nice. Let's move things around a little bit. All right. Working our second side. So this time, grounding down through the right foot. Again, slightly Soften the knee, nice little pliable. People call it micro bending, whatever term you'd like to use or you're comfortable with. Just don't lock it out. So anything less than locking it out is where you want to be. That means your quad's really working. It is very engaged. So if you've got weak quads, this might mean that you do a kickstand. So I'm kicking my left knee out, maybe bringing that foot up. Ideally, I want to do the same thing on the second side as I did on the first. So I brought that heel up to my groin, nice and tall. I say ideally, and I emphasize that, arms up if you'd like. If you did it the first side, maybe pick a different version. Reverse prayer is always fun. And the reason I say ideally is because our bodies are not completely symmetric. And one side might be a little bit more accommodating to a certain form of your posture than the other. So you just have to learn that about yourself. And then if you really want to make sure you keep as balanced a practice as possible, work on the side that's not as accommodating and find that symmetry. Beautiful. Bring your palms together, exhale the hands down to heart center, release that left foot, drop it to the mat, and let's move things around. All right, let's do some more balancing. So eagle is always fun. It's a hard one because we've got upper body stuff, we've got lower body stuff, we're twisting, we're crossing, we're crouching, we're in chair. There's a lot going on in eagle. Garudasana. So I'm going to do a version of eagle which is going to help us kind of loosen things up first. And there's lots of expressions. A lot of people start eagle in chair, which is perfectly fine. Boom, it's a nice tall eagle. So that's a great version of eagle. I'm going to go in a version of eagle which is going to allow us to compress a little bit if you'd like, sort of a concentric scrunching or engaging of the muscles and then an eccentric release. So let's go with arms overhead. We take that right arm and we're twine it under our left. We're going to cross at the elbow, bring those palms together. For a lot of people, this is really tough on your shoulders. This is a great option, just giving yourself a hug or backs of your palms, whatever works. So as I said, we're going to open things up a little bit. So I like to move a little side to side, loosen that shoulder girdle up. Since I haven't been doing yoga, this really needs some help. And since I've been riding a lot, my upper body, triceps, shoulders are taking the brunt of what the road gives up to me. In other words, if I'm on a really bumpy, rutted road, I live in a country club here in Southern California, and it's like riding through Beirut circa 1983. It is ruddy, it is bombed out, it is like hell. Gotta believe we've got some money to repave these roads. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale, sweep those fingertips up towards the sky. We're gonna exhale, bring those elbows deep down to our chest. So I'm looking at the side view of my palm. This is gonna give us a little bit of a constriction here. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, I'm gonna slowly sit back into chair. My weight's gonna shift to my left leg. I'm gonna take my right leg, inhale, cross it up and over. And then from here, I'm gonna hinge and shoot my fingertips forward. If I want, I can actually go ahead and reach forward. Beautiful. Slowly rise back up. Unravel your legs first. Inhale, arms overhead. Woo, shoulders really feeling it. Left arm is going to twine into the right, crossing at the elbow. Again, interlace, moving it around. A lot of people do circles, they go back and forth, little tick-tocks. Hinging back, hinging forward, your choice. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, elbows tight deep into your chest. Settle in, make sure your gaze is looking at the side of your hands. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, back into chair. Sit deep, sit low in this chair, shifting that weight onto the right leg. Inhale, left leg crosses up and over. And again, I'm hinging at my waist, shooting those fingertips forward. Keeping that gaze forward. Nice. And then slowly we're going to inhale, unravel those legs first, unravel those arms, inhale back to mountain, palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Whew. Drop those arms, shake it out. Nice, I like doing things in threes. That was 2 balanced postures. Let's pick a third. Dancer's pose is always fun. One leg mountain's always good for a stretch. Standing forehead to knee. Tumbling tree. Trikonasana. So many nice balanced postures. Let's do Trikonasana. That's a fun one. So I like to do that step to the back of my mat. Bring my feet together. Inhale, arms overhead, palms together to touch. Interlace my fingers, release my index fingers. I'm gonna step my right foot forward, softening that right knee for support. Now, I don't want to round forward. I want to keep nice and good neutral spine. So I'm going to launch off my left foot, hinging at the waist, pointing my back toe, keeping my biceps and my ears lined up. Trikonasana. Standing stick. I'm making a T shape with my body overall. Good. Inhale, rise back up. Step both feet back to back of your mats. Nice! That's a toughie. All right, work on the second side. Arms overhead, palms together, interlace fingers, release index fingers. Step the left foot forward this time, softening that knee for support, rising up to the ball of my right foot, launching off, pointing that back toe, hinging, keeping my gaze looking, maybe 2 feet above my toes, keeping my hips square so I'm not rotating out, keeping them nice and flat as possible. Inhale, slowly rise back up. Step your front foot back. Nice. Woo! Very tough. All right. Let's step to the tops of our mats. We're going to add some triangle work here. But as we move into triangle, we're going to add some steps along the way to help make sure our alignments are nice and sharp. And that once we get into triangle, we're really looking at good alignment and safe form. Triangle is something you're struggling with, particularly with shoulders rounding forward and hips shifting back. It's always a tough one. My number one recommendation for that is you're trying to go maybe a little too deep too quickly. So give yourself a break and come out of the posture. Rise up a little bit. Boom, that's much better, okay? So for us, we're gonna do a little bit of a flow. So inhale, arms overhead. Open your arms wide, inhale, chin up. Exhale, drop into back bend. Inhale, back into mountain. Palms together, exhale, release back into forward fold. Oh, inhale, half lift. Plant your hands, step yourself back to the plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale to low lunge. Now from low lunge, we're going to rise into warrior two. So we haven't done this in this practice yet, so the transition's easy. Take that back foot, spin it so that it's flat and the outer knife edge of your back foot is parallel back edge of your mat. That's your foundation. As I'm here and I'm kind of looking, if I drew an imaginary line between my heel, it would bisect the arch of my back foot. So that's the alignment we're looking for. I'm going to inhale to warrior two. So I'm going to rise on up. I always come a little bit out of it, so I want to make sure I adjust into it. Now, to get myself into triangle, Trikonasana, I want to go really long. So I'm going to actually shift my back foot back maybe an inch or two. And I'm going to inhale, straighten that front knee. Exhale, as I reach forward, I'm just going to hinge and tilt. And again, if you feel like you're rounding that top over or your hips are compensating and shifting out of alignment, just come out of the posture a little bit. And then over time, you'll easily get deeper and deeper the more you practice it. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to rise back up nice and slow. This is a tricky transition. Take that front foot, shift it so it's parallel to your back foot. Arms are out like the letter T, hinging at our waist, using some core strength. We're going to exhale into that wide leg forward fold. Woo! I feel this. So if I stretch my feet out a little bit deeper, usually I can get the crown of my head on the mat. Barely today, but just about did it. Nice good stretch in my ab and adductors, those inner thigh muscles. Hamstring stretch as well. Now, we're going to reach those arms out like the letter T. We're going to inhale, slowly rise to standing. We're going to take that front foot and shift it so it's pointing forward, and we're going to exhale back into warrior two. Inhale, we're going to reverse our warrior, and then we're going to exhale. Hands going to come to that mat. Step that front foot back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. We're going to inhale that left leg high. Exhale to low lunge.
And as we did before, we're gonna spin that back foot flat, prepping ourselves up for our warrior two. Inhale, rising back up. Again, stretching myself out just a little bit deeper. Going into a nice long stretch here. Inhale, straightening my front knee. As I exhale, I'm gonna reach forward, moving into my Trikonasana side triangle on the second side. Reaching up really through these ribs, these intercostal muscles, stretching up nice and tall. And we're gonna inhale, rise back up to standing. As we did on the first side, take that front foot, flip it so it's parallel to your back foot. This time we're gonna drop our arms behind our backs, interlace our fingers into a bind. Inhale, lift that chin up, and then exhale, release into that nice forward fold. Go slow, our arms are bound together, hands are clasped. Move those arms away from your back. Thank you, Pipper Dipper. Good, keep those hands clasped together. We're gonna inhale slowly, rise it up. I like to use a lot of core here, just for stability. Nice and tall, releasing my arms out like a letter T. Front foot is gonna shift towards the front. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step that front foot back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take some time to walk that dog out. Then shift forward into high plank, drop into tabletop. Shift back a little bit, pressing those hips against those heels. And shift yourselves back into tabletop. Extend those feet back behind you into plank. Shift forward on an inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Do that. I'm going to do locust for a little back. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to do some extension. So looking forward, chin is on the mat, looking forward. Arms are by your side, palms are flipped up. Now bring your chin up, your torso, your shoulders just off the mat, and then lift those arms up. Work a little shoulder here as well. Just hold them. If you want to pulse them, you certainly can, not a problem. Good, release it. Hello. All right, let's put our left ear on the mat, looking right, arms by your side. Take a break. Perfect time. Now, I didn't mention it, guys, but you're smart enough. You guys are good yogis. Get that water when you need it. What's up? Yeah, a lot of dust in our house. All right, chin back to the center of your mat. Let's extend those arms on either side of us like the letter T. Moving into our locust. So, on my... got a little down dog going, don't you? So we're gonna inhale, I'll give my legs up first, and then my torso follows, arms extended out, reaching up. You're an internet superstar, I guess. It's always fun, I love doing a little bind here. Help me rise up a little more. Chin forward. Gus, no, thanks for helping. Oh. Beautiful, go ahead and release it, guys. Bend our knees and just gently windshield wipe those legs across your body. Good. Shift yourself back up into tabletop. Bring your knees together. Shift your hips back to your heels. Release your forehead to the mat. Extend those arms out in front of you. Option here is to also have your arms by your side. That works perfectly well. Kind of giving ourselves a little bit of a counter stretch here, rounding that back. Perfect time to re-engage with your breath. Re-establish that ujjayi, that controlled breathing if you've lost it. Just re-establish it and connect that mind to that breath. Nice. We're going to inhale back into tabletop. I'm going to move you guys into half pigeon. A lot of us like to do half pigeon on our back, so if that's a favorite variation for you, please feel to flip over onto your back in a supine version. Some of us like to do it on a prone position, so we're going to curl those toes under, exhale into down dog. Give some time in that dog, pressing it out. Go ahead, inhale that right leg high. Take that right knee, bring it to your right wrist. You're gonna take that right shin, cross it over your mat. Depending on your hip flexibility and your knee conditions, it might come across that mat like the number 7. It might angle back slightly towards that opposite hip, no worries. What I want you to do for sure though is check behind you. Make sure that that left foot is in alignment with your calf. If you want to stay nice and tall, is a perfect way to do it. Make sure you're not slumping to the side. If you feel like you are, maybe grab a block or a pillow to put under that right hip. Also, a nice way to move into half pigeon is in a little bit of a release and maybe an extension or steeple mudra. People like to thread the needle here. But this is a really good hip opener. I am certainly feeling that hip stretch out, especially that glute as well. All on the right side. Okay. Slowly, guys, we're going to inhale, bring those palms underneath our shoulders. Take that front foot and step it back into plank. Oh, I'm feeling tingly. Now exhale into down dog. This takes some time. A lot of constriction going on in half pigeon, which means we are constricting the flow of blood, which, as you guys know, brings that oxygen to those muscles, which is our fuel. So let's get that supply chain going again. The way we do it is by giving ourselves nice little movements, getting the blood flowing. Go ahead and inhale that left leg high this time. Exhale, left knee to left wrist. And again, finding the space that's comfortable for you. Checking that back foot, making sure we're lined up. Here's, if you'd like, you can take a little bit of a different option, or you can repeat what you did on the first side, making sure you're keeping those hips square. Again, if you feel like you're slumping in and actually supporting on that right thigh, take a block or a pillow to put underneath for support. And again, feel those hips stretch out. Again, I'm feeling my hamstrings and my glutes on the left side, really getting a good stretch here. Slowly, we're going to inhale, bringing again those palms under our shoulders. Rising up, stepping that front foot back again into plank, and then exhaling into down dog. And as we did on the first side, you can walk the dog, and stretch it out. Get a nice, good, fun, strong dog. So our last dog in the practice. Inhale, look up towards your hands. Exhale, step it forward. And we're going to have a seat. Extend those legs out in front of you nice and long. Do some seated forward folding. So, grounding ourselves onto our mats. As we hinge forward, we want to go not just here at our ribs, we want to go deep into our hips. The way I like to do that is really exaggerate my movements. So I'm going to lift my arms overhead, give myself a little upper lift of my chest, kind of round that mid-back. Chest is up. And as I exhale and I visualize grabbing beyond this, so I'm grabbing to the other side of the room where I am. I'm stretching beyond my toes. And then I've got a good distance. I'm going to tuck my chin slowly towards my chest. Maybe let my elbows fall to the side. And get into a nice, deep, seated forward fold. A little deeper, you can grab your big toes, pull those big toes back towards you, get a little bit of a stretch in those calves, lifting those heels and those ankles off your mat. If that's not your deal, no worries, just kind of stay in where you feel comfortable. I like to come out of this posture a little bit, go back into it, feel like I'm getting a little deeper, getting that forehead as close to my knees as possible. Good. Inhale, rise up. Now I'm going to shift myself forward just a little bit, but I'm going to extend my arms in front of me. I'm going to exhale, lowering all the way onto my back.
using my core, going as slow as possible with control. And then once I'm on the mat, I'm going to hug those knees into my chest. Oh, roll side to side, as always. Good stretch here. Oh. We all deserve a little happy baby right now, so I'm going into some happy baby. And remember, you can grab the inside or outside edges of your feet. Maybe grab your big toes if that feels good. A little rolling side to side. If you want, you can toggle one leg, bring it back, toggle the other, stretching it out, bringing bottoms of your feet together. All those are great versions of happy baby. Good. Hug those knees back into your chest. Good tight squeeze here. Time for some twisting. We're going to send that left leg all the way down our mats. Now, we're going to extend our arms on either side of us as the letter T for support. We're going to take that right knee, cross it over our body, and we're going to look to the right side. So looking to the opposite side that our knee is going. Don't worry about getting that knee to the ground. We really want to make sure we're keeping our shoulders nicely connected to our mats. I like to actually do an extended top leg. I use the leverage of my leg to get a little deeper into that twist. If I'm feeling particularly sassy, I might kick that bottom foot back. Get a little quad stretch while I'm at it. I can stay here all afternoon. And they just slowly unravel the twist. Draw those knees back in, a little movement side to side, always good. And now we're going to extend the right leg all the way down that mat. And whatever you did in the first side, let's play with it on the second. Maybe doing a nice big extension with that straight top leg. Kicking that bottom foot back and it feels good. Again, just enjoying the stretch, a nice, easy, comfortable breath. Nice. Slowly begin to unravel the twist. Take those knees back in. Again, a little roll side to side. Awesome. Really good practice, guys. Now here's a time where we've got a little time left if you'd like to practice on some postures that favorites of yours, maybe one that we didn't do today, or one we did, you want to play around with a little bit more. We didn't do crow, that's always a fun posture to play with. So I'm going to do a little plow. So I'm going to stabilize myself with my arms to the side, bringing my knees in, lifting my hips up, shutting my legs up from overhead. Shoulder stand. And extend my legs out, kind of being a move into Shavasana. Shavasana, the final posture. Actually, we have one more posture after this, but this is going to be a nice, good posture to transition us into our final seated pose. So extend yourself out, arms by your side. I like to open my heels, the edges of my mat. It's fun to roll my shoulder blades under my back, elevate my heart a little bit. Some people like to tuck their chin slightly towards their chest, helps keep a neutral neck. And just keep your breathing steady and strong, keep your mind focused still on your body. It's a great time to do a reassessment. We did an assessment, a physical assessment when we started just about an hour ago. Take some time to focus and turn that attention back inward. Take another little glimpse of how you're feeling. Do you feel like you've opened some spots up? Do you feel nicely fatigued? A little stretched out, a little bit more limber. Maybe a little calmer, a little less anxiety. that control, but our breath is steady. Slowly, guys, wiggle those fingers, wiggle toes, maybe roll that head gently side to side. Nice, bring those legs together. Raise those arms overhead, give yourself a nice big full body stretch. And one final time, draw those knees back up into your chest. Good squeeze. Always take some time to roll side to side here and loosen it up. Go ahead and take that right arm, reach it up overhead. Roll gently to that right side. And maybe push yourself up to seated on your mat. This is our final yoga posture, seated pose, easy pose. It's a nice seated position, tall. Here it's really nice not to slump. Maybe sit on a block is really comfortable for you. I put my hands sometimes by my hips, really lift that chin up. Palms together, hands at heart center, maybe close your eyes. Just take a moment to, again, take a quick assessment of how you're feeling, how this workout, how this practice went for you. And feel grateful that you had the time, you fitted in, you had the energy, you had the focus, moving ourselves around a little bit, maybe in a different way. This felt really good to me. I feel really rusty, but I feel really good that I did it. It was kind of on a whim. I was working on some month-end stuff. I'm like, I need to do some yoga. Let's film this thing. It'll make sure that I do it all. Take your thumb to that third eye, the spot between your eyebrows. Again, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for playing with these yoga moves, these yoga workouts. I think, given what I've been reading about Riverside County, where we are located, where I am located, there's 3 phases of reopening. It seems that we in this county are a little bit ahead of the curve. We are at phase 2.5 per the county website. And that just indicates that we have put into place protocols that are a little bit ahead of what the state is suggesting at this point. The 3rd phase will find gyms and studios and hair salons, barbershops, those kinds of places open. As always, we'll be masking ourselves, social distancing, but I think really soon, and I will take sort of an email opinion, we'll be able to get back to our park practice on Sundays. So that is something I'm really looking forward to. Getting outside, doing some yoga, seeing some people, chatting. My dogs don't talk back. Well, they talk back, but nothing you'd want to hear. So again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you're having an awesome self-quarantine. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. I will be sending out a lot more emails in the next couple of weeks just to talk about that, kind of giving ourselves some start dates. If you have any ideas, any suggestions, any feedback, please let me know. Give me some emails. But until then, from my heart to yours, namaste.